If you watched the first video about this string trimmer, you'd know that I was getting bad vibrations out of it, and it seemed to be coming from this Dewalt head. And I did actually wind up taking the string out of it to see if that was it and try it, and no, it was the same thing. And Dewalt basically said that I'd have to take it to a service center, and the nearest lawn and garden center is like 86 miles each way, so that's not going to happen. They didn't offer to ship it or anything. And to return it to Amazon, it was a third-party seller, and I would have had to pay the shipping to go back, plus possibly a 20% restocking fee according to their policy. So I decided to try to fix it myself. And here's the Dewalt head. You can see there's like 2 millimeters of clearance around it, and the whole center moves off center when it starts turning. So it looked like it would it looked like it was about the same as the one on my Echo gas-powered weed whacker. So I went out in the shop, grabbed one of the old ones that I no longer use. This one had like 6 years of use on it, I think. And that one's really tight, and I put it on there. You can see there's no shifting, no play or anything in that one. And you know, this one's been used for a long time. And I did put the .080 DeWalt line in it because it said that it's rated for that. And I started up. I immediately noticed that a good part of the vibration was gone. Really made a giant difference on this one. So I don't know if I just got a bad DeWalt head or if they're all bad or what. But you know, this is the way I decided to go so I could use it. So I went on Amazon, and I saw other places sold them as a package with bushings and stuff, but it's a speed feed 400 Echo head. I went on Amazon, I found a guy that just sold a OEM version that didn't come with all the extra adapters and stuff, and this was $24.95 it wound up costing. And I ordered one and had it in 2 days. It's really nice to have Amazon during times like this when you don't want to go out in public. It arrived by the mail 2 days later, and you can see it's a same head, but it actually looks pretty nice compared to the old one. Came with just some instructions on how to feed the line into it. And there it is, speed feed head by Echo. And the thing I noticed stamped on the back of it, this one's rated for 10,000 RPM. So that means it's got to be balanced pretty good, because these things don't shake at all on my gas-powered whackers. So, you know, they're a really great head I've had good luck with that are reliable. So I'm guessing this one's, you know, that's why this one works better than the other one, because it does have an actual rating on it. And you can see it just threads right on. They're just a left-hand thread, and the heads have the identical threads on them. And I mean, this definitely probably voids the warranty from DeWalt, but the thing's not really usable the way it was, so I figured this would, you know, work out for me. And you see no play in that, won't shift, still nice and tight. And it does have this weird black line in it that's kind of like got 4 really sharp corners on it. I don't know what it is or what they call it or what size it is, so I'm going to take that out. But there it is. Look, I'm going to take that out and try it out on my gas trimmer when I get a chance, see how it works. And I you know, I decided to give it a try, and actually it's pretty good. It's funny because it's not quite as smooth running as with the old beat up head on it, but it's you know, much better than the DeWalt head. So I figured I'd take that weird line, because I don't know how they had that wound on there, how much was on there off, and you know, this DeWalt trimmer is rated for .080 only. So I decided to pull the head apart, and you can see these things are really nice and tight when they're new. Nice big heavy spring in them and stuff like that. You know, if you look at them compared to the DeWalt, their plastic's much heavier. They're, you know, everything fits together tight, and there's a spring in them that's about twice the size of the spring in the DeWalt. You can see that right there. So for $25 here, you know, it seemed like a quality head, and I've had good luck with these in the past. Never used that black wire that came on them though. So I just decided to pull that out of there. And pretty amazing. I think you could almost cut yourself on this stuff. It's so sharp, so it must be something new they've come out with. And everything there is, you know, you can still see everything there is nice and tight. And the new one and the old one are the same, but the old one's got a lot of the surfaces smoothed out and worn off it. So then you just have to, there's a little arrow there you have to line up with the feed there to do the auto load. And actually this Dewalt string has already been on 2 different reels, so it's pretty twisted on the end there, and had to try to straighten that out to get it to feed through the this echo head. But the echo head said it's rated for a .080 watt string, so you know it should meet all the specs. And then you just get it through the center, and this is probably about a 20-foot piece they put on here. So you just have to find the 2 ends there and then just pull it so that it's exactly centered in the head. But that's not so easy with the slinky wire there. There are the ends, and just pull it through until everything's centered. And then just wind the head up. And I've been using, you know, this style head for years, and they always work really good. And it's just a matter of just winding it up on there. So that, you know, that all wound up in there no problem, and it's actually better with that Dewalt string on there now than it was with that other wire for some reason. Maybe that wasn't wound perfectly right or something like that. But there seems to be vibration left in the gears of the head that actually get magnified by the shape of that column that they use for this. Most people use a round shaft on the weed whackers, but this has got that weird shaped extrusion, and nothing clamps on tight or anything. I'll show you in a little while, but and you can see the point of balance of this is really off bad. Now in the first video somebody left a comment to try the bigger batteries. So I did. I went on Amazon. I actually found these 6 amp hour batteries. I didn't really realize they existed. And they wound up costing less than 5 amp hour batteries. I was pretty surprised, but there you can see the size difference in them. And they're supposed to be able to stand up to a much higher amperage draw. So they've got extra cells in them and stuff. So I figured I'd try one. I tried 2 actually. I got a set because it cost less to buy 2 than 1. And then when I slid it in there, I figured out why they had left that opening so large for the battery, because this battery just fits in there perfect. And that does help balance it a little bit, but it does increase the weight by quite a bit also. But it's really not, still not, you know, that comfortable or balanced to use. It's just not really a comfortable position, but you know, it does help get it balanced off, and you can pretty much hear how quiet this is. The problem is they put that hinge point right where the handle should be. If you can move the handle down about 2 inches or so, this thing would be perfect. You could balance it, it would be comfortable to use, but for some reason they put that pivot point there, and they did nothing but add weight with that pivot point and screw it up so you can't get the center of balance on it right. Plus, I had some people that were a little bit shorter ask me about if they could use this trimmer, so I decided to. The only thing you can do is try putting the handle on upside down below that pivot point. It sure would be nice if DeWalt offered a replacement piece of this extrusion that didn't have that pivot on it and was straight. I think it would make it a much better trimmer. But so I stuck it down there, and with the big battery, it's actually kind of top heavy now, but it's kind of totally uncomfortable for me to use. Maybe, you know, if you were about 5 foot, you know, 5'4", 5'6", it might be a little more comfortable for you, but it's it does help get it flat stuff when I bend over, so it looks like that would bring it into a usable range, but really it should be up. It should be mounted the other way around and up a little bit to you know, help control the vibration and control the movement. So I figured I'd try the littler battery in there, or the bigger battery, I mean, and that just made it too heavy to really be comfortable. So there is a big difference in the battery weight. And I gotta show you all my other Dewalt tools. Like, this is the head trimmer I use, and that's perfectly balanced when you use it. It's really comfortable to use, and you're not fighting it or anything. And here's my blower, and same thing. I'm gonna put the 5-amp battery that comes with it in there, and that's pretty much perfectly balanced if you get your finger up under the trigger area. I'm behind it now, but you can see how comfortable, you know, that is to use. Where this trimmer, they just got this all wrong. It's just not ergonomically correct in my book. And you can't do anything about it because of that pivot point that they put in there, which I'm thinking also was causing vibration problems. So on this unit that I had, this head did make a big difference for me. Maybe there was something wrong with the Dewalt head that came on it, or maybe that's the way they all are. I don't know. Looks like they did try to balance it from the molding on the back. And I guess that'll make a good paperweight now. And there's that old Echo head. That thing's just been through hell and back and still works good. This wire, I can't wait to try it on my bigger trimmer. And there you can see the size difference in these batteries, and I think this will last because I put one of these in my blower and I used it for about a half an hour outside, and the thing still said fully charged, so I think they're really going to last. I did run into a problem when I first got them and charged them. This larger charger here actually worked good with them. It took a while to charge them. But the smaller charger I tried, and that one, when I put the battery in, the red light came on fully charged and it wouldn't charge it. So I don't know if it's a problem or what, but that little one wouldn't charge them for me, but the bigger ones work perfect. So I just moved the handle back up there, and I thought I'd show you. It's really hard to get this thing comfortable just because of the way they've got that pivot in there and the way the handle mounts and stuff. But it definitely doesn't have that hand-numbing vibration anymore. But I did actually put a piece of vibration-absorbing rubber in that joint there to take some of the play out of it. But still, you can feel how it really feels like all those joints and stuff are just magnifying whatever vibration comes out of the gearbox on the head. So, basically that's my thoughts about it now. It's definitely runs a lot less vibrating, and it's actually a lot quieter because with the other head on, the battery would get vibrating really bad and really make it noisy. Where this head, you can see it's the head itself is made a big difference to me. So this is kind of how I feel about this thing. Would I buy it again? Probably not. Am I stuck using it now? Yes, I am. And it will be better with this new head on it, but I don't think it'll ever be comfortable to use unless another longer extrusion is available to replace that. And there you can see that's just I don't know, I guess I can't figure out why that whole head shifts around like that, but maybe they just left everything loose for tolerances or something because they were, so cheaply made. But definitely you can see it. Thought I'd try to show you how the Echo head feeds, but it's kind of hard to bump on a piece of rubber. It's a lot easier outside, but they do feed very consistently, and it does run good. And there you can hear it's a lot quieter. The battery's not vibrating back there like it does with the Dewalt head. So I guess I've got to say that the speed feed head, took a lot of vibration out of mine, and these bigger batteries look like they are going to help balance it and last a little bit longer. And this Dewalt head is actually a big paperweight now. And I'm going to have to say, if you do buy one, buy it at a store like Home Depot where you can always return it if you're not happy with it, so you're not stuck with it. And I think this whole folding thing really is causing half of the problems, and the shape of the extrusion is too. You can see how it's not touching fully around there, just little pieces that kind of squeeze on the extrusion and seem to amplify the vibrations. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.